Coming up on this week's edition of Next Team News, it's a Meijer edition? It's one of them, or maybe it's all of them. Stay tuned, and we'll see you on the next team. Well, hi everyone, good morning, and welcome to Next Team News, presented by the Next Team, the good, bad, and ugly of golf, and also presented unofficially by Tim Hortons. You drink us every day, you don't like it, but you do. So, we had a major weekend of golf, literally and figuratively, this past week. And we're going to start off in the most obvious place that we can start off. The USGA. I want to commend Mike Wan, or Mike Gwen, I always screw up his name and I apologize for that, for setting up a very entertaining and one of the best that I've ever watched. Watching the US Open this past week on the various feeds that I had was amazing. It was compelling television. I liked a lot of the angles that they had, especially the bunker cams. It was just, overall, it was a great setup all week long. It tested the best in the world. And there's some discrepancies there as far as the best in the world, because a lot of people are miffed that some players from LIV were left out. If you don't qualify, you don't get in. That's how it works. That's the US Open. And yeah, sure, okay, Tiger, he received a special exemption to get into the field. But anyways, the USGA, they did a great job on setting up a very fair golf course. It was a test. It tested the golfers physically. It tested them mentally. It was a great test of golf. It was so fun to watch. Oh my goodness. I'll be honest, I haven't watched that much golf in a long time where I was actually glued to the television. And, I mean, it didn't help, or sorry, it didn't hurt me, being Canadian, seeing the likes of Taylor Pendrith, Corey Connors, you know, being right there in contention. And I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. It wasn't Mackenzie Hughes. Oh, Adam Hadwin was up there, I think, for a while, too, was he not? I can't remember. But anyways, there was some Canadian content up there as well on the leaderboard. But the USGA did a great job. Pinehurst Resort, I had my worries that we were going to see it every so often. It was going to be too much of seeing a great venue like Pinehurst number 2. And of course, the first thing that I always think of Pinehurst number 2 is Payne Stewart. Man, oh man. I mean, there's a reason why that statue is there, right? In his honor. And I will never forget listening to almost what was like a play-by-play on a sports radio network out of Toronto called the Fan 590. When he was on that fatal flight. Man, oh man. But anyways, yeah, Pinehurst, you're a beautiful host. I don't think I'll get sick of you. And everybody at the USGA, well done. Very well done. And especially to the grounds crew, the turf team, that pitched in at Pinehurst to give us that product. Unbelievable. And I know it takes a village to prep for one of these tournaments. And this is what a lot of people don't realize. Even when you're talking about a PGA Tour America's Tour Championship, you get supers from other courses converging onto another golf course, acting as, well, just greenskeepers, turf guys, you know, just your standard menial turf guy. And I don't mean any disrespect there whatsoever to the likes of Thad Thompson, who I know on X, or any of the other superintendents out there. No disrespect intended whatsoever. But yeah, like it really takes a lot of really knowledgeable people and experienced people to get an event like this in shape, as in the course in shape, and keep it up to the stringent standards of the USGA or the RNA or even Golf Canada. So well done to everybody all the way around. Next we have Bryson DeChambeau, and leading off with Bryson DeChambeau, I just want to say that I love when a story goes full circle. So a little bit of a flashback. Who remembers when Bryson DeChambeau first emerged on the scene for the PGA Tour? He came in with a pristine, a stellar amateur career. And you know what? He was almost eccentric. Not in a way like Mo Norman, but in a way like Mo Norman. We had a guy who was a scientist. He was different, fresh, very intelligent, and maybe too intelligent for his own good at times, because he would just blow your mind away with things that he talked about. Like, almost trying to prove that he was smarter than you, or that's what it seemed like when interviews were being conducted. So then he goes through that era of Brooksy, where he's Buff DeChambeau, or Buffson, and he got sort of, what's the word, obnoxious. I actually went from loving the guy because he was different and fresh to I got tired of him because he was just a plain old obnoxious. That's what he struck me as. Was it the PGA Tour? He didn't get a chance to really show who he truly was. I don't know what happened there, but what I do know is that as scrutinized as his move to live was, this was such a good move for him. He seems relaxed. He seems different, mature. Mature seems like a very operative word here. He's engaging. I mean, look at the PGA Championship. He signed, I don't know if it was a glove or a ball. I'm pretty sure he tossed a ball over to the ropes for a kid. This fully grown adult intercepts it like he's playing for the Buffalo Bills, Jordan Poyer. I don't know, that's all I could think of. But anyways, he hawks that ball and runs off with it. Well, Bryson sees it, points at him with his putter and says, "Hey, buddy, bring that ball back." Okay, it wasn't quite like that. But the point being is, he saved that kid's day. I mean, he stood up to that. I don't want to call him a bully because that's a pretty broad umbrella and a pretty mean thing to say about somebody who I've never met. But that was a douchey move that guy did, right? So Bryson intervenes. Then we hear about this week where, you know, after, I don't know about the first and second rounds, but after moving day on Saturday, he's out on the range. It's dark. He tells people to meet him at the opposite end of the range, and he's signing autographs for everybody. He's taking pictures. I mean, this is an engaging guy. Very, very engaging. Something that golf needs a little bit more of. And who knows, maybe if a couple guys from the PGA Tour went over to Live Golf, maybe they could learn this and follow Bryson's example. Because there's a little bit of prickery out there, I'll say it. There's some pricks out there. You know, Bushwood. But Bryson, he's a two-time winner now of the US Open, golf's hardest test. And I think it's ludicrous that he wins this event. And because of rules, I don't know, by PGA of America or whoever, he can't play in the Olympics for his country's team. An Olympic year, think about this, an Olympic year, a national champion, I mean, in comparison, we'll say Simone Biles, she'll be the national champion for gymnastics, right? She gets to go, a national champion, but yet a national champion like Bryson DeChambeau can't play in it. And I don't care where your allegiances are between LIV and the PGA Tour. It's just not right. It's just not right. It's that simple. But I also get it too, because you know what? When all these players went over to LIV, they were warned about this, but it's still not right. So Bryson, again, congratulations. And yeah, it's ludicrous. You know, it's sort of funny hearing those USA, USA chants, because I'm thinking, wow, it'd be nice to hear that at the Olympics, wouldn't it, Bryson? But nope. Nope, you were cock blocked. Yeah, cock blocked. That's a fun word. Sticking with the USGA and the US Open, we'll talk about Rory McIlroy just very briefly, or semi-briefly. Ironically enough, he's another guy that I've gone full circle on. I mean, it's crazy what happened with this whole LIV thing going back to 2022. Like, just crazy. Or was it 2021? No, 2022. It was at St. George's, the Canadian Open, when all this happened. But here's a guy that I love when he emerged on the scene. Then I think he got too invested in this argument with LIV Golf and Greg Norman. And you know what? There's just something about him that I find endearing once again. I like him because he just says it how it is. And you know what? I know people are pissed off this morning or disgusted or woke about him not staying around for a presser. Okay, that'd be a hard way to lose. You think you have this thing wrapped up, even though, you know what, you made some self-inflicted pain there. You caused yourself self-inflicted pain by bogeying, what, 2 or 3 of the last couple holes of the tournament. Totally avoidable issues. So, you know what, 1, I'm pissed at myself. 2, I'm both mad and tipping my cap to Bryson for the shot he pulled off from the bunker. Crazy stuff. Like, that was crazy. My God. And number 3, and more importantly, I think that's number 3. I've lost track. Stroke brain and all. I really think that the worst part about this whole thing, where people are on him, people are saying that he didn't shake Bryson's hand. Okay, the first thing is, we don't know what happened in between Bryson walking off that 18th green, signing his scorecard, going into the clubhouse, and emerging back out. We don't know what happened. How long does it take for somebody to shake a hand? What, a couple seconds? Hey, congratulations. That's all it had to be. We weren't in there, and unless Bryson said himself in a press conference, which I didn't watch, that Rory didn't shake his hand, I'm not gonna hold it against Rory. Whether he did or didn't, I'm not gonna hold it against him. You know what? There'll be other times. I'm sure with the Open Championship coming up that it'll be addressed. I wouldn't be surprised if it was addressed this week at the Travelers Championship. But you know what? Give the guy a freaking break. Think about what his life has been over the last couple of years. He gets too emotionally invested in this LIV versus PGA Tour debacle, which it shouldn't be. Golf is golf. Fans are fans. You can't be well, I guess you can be a PGA Tour fan or a LIV Golf fan, but why not play both? It's golf. It's a product. Right? To each their own. But yeah, he got too emotionally invested. And you know what? I don't like talking about people's private lives. There was a lot going on between him and his, at one time, soon-to-be divorced wife, Erica. Then they, what's that saying? They reconcile, they get back together right before the US Open. There's a lot of crap going on there. And you have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. And I said this before about Tiger Woods too, once upon a time. You know where I said, you know what, guys, like, lay off. And I've been like that about Charlie as far as that goes. I can't even believe I just brought his name up. But no, Rory deserves a pass on this one. That sucked. I mean, I'd be muttering about that to myself. Well, I wouldn't sleep. I wouldn't sleep last night if I was Rory. Because if it's me, I'm neurotic. And I'm going on about this in my head, replaying this over and over and over again. And maybe so much not Bryson DeChambeau's end of it, but what I did to bogey those 2 holes. Because if I don't bogey one of them, it's a different story. It's a much different story. So we'll give him a pass. Now, for some Canadian content regarding the US Open, there was a little mini tournament within the tournament this past week. Scrambling is going on, getting ready for Paris to see who's going to be representing Canada. Going into the weekend, it was going to be geez, who was it? Adam Hadwin and Nick Taylor that was going to be representing Canada. Now, if Corey Connors happened to get a tie for 11th or better, he would knock Hadwin out with Hadwin missing the cut, and he would find himself in. So going over to Paris and representing Canada for the men's golf tournament over at the Paris Olympic Games, looks like it's going to be Corey Connors and Nick Taylor. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Nick Taylor, I love Mackenzie Hughes, I love all these guys, Corey, all the Canadians, I love them all. But boy, oh boy, I know what Nick Taylor did last year with the RBC Canadian Open, and it might be a little bit of double standard by me saying this. He won last year, won our National Open, and was the first one since Pat Fletcher a million years ago to be a Canadian to win the Canadian Open. I wouldn't want him to be representing Canada this year. And I don't know. I always feel like you go with the hottest hands, and I know it doesn't work that way with the Olympics or with a lot of things in life, even though it should. I really feel, however, that this year representing Canada, it should be Nick Taylor or not Nick Taylor, my goodness, Corey Connors and Taylor Pendrith. Pendrith had a great U.S. Open as well yesterday. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Aaron Rai. You know what? Eventually he will become a household name for fans on this side of the pond that watch the PGA Tour. Of course, he has a couple of victories over on the European Tour, on the DP World Tour, sorry. But yeah, Aaron Rai. And you know what? He is also one of those guys that is just very affable, very engaging, friendly. And boy, he works his tail off. Hats off to Aaron Rai. So I think I can safely go past the U.S. Open now. I mean, I could spend an entire 30-minute segment talking about the U.S. Open and things that went down this past week. Pinehurst Resort, I don't know if I will ever see you, but I would love to come down and see your facility and visit Pinehurst number 2. Even if I didn't play, I would like just to come in, look at it, walk around it, snap a whole bunch of pictures. So Pinehurst, help a golf media guy out. Yeah, just a little help from my friends. So there's more things going on in golf this weekend than just the U.S. Open. We also had the LPGA. They were playing in Michigan this past weekend, and this was the 10th playing of the, I always have problems with this word. I always wanted to call it Meijer or Major, but no, I think it's Meijer, the Meijer Classic. Coming into the final round, and a lot of people may not have seen this, but Grace Kim had a 5-shot lead going into the final round. Usually a 5-shot lead is, you know what, it's not quite money, it's not quite golden, but it's a pretty safe lead. That's unless you have some players that are surging, like Lexi Thompson did yesterday. And of course, Lilia Vu. Lilia Vu ended up winning the event in a 3-golfer playoff. Lilia Vu is a former number 1, and she's been, I don't know, I think she's just been really quiet. She's been having a down year this year, and those down years happen. I mean, let's face it, we've seen it all over the place on every tour in the world, right? But here comes Lilia Vu. She was charging throughout the whole day. Lexi Thompson, who of course just recently announced her retirement after the end of this 24 golf season for the LPGA. I mean, she played some great golf, and I mean, Lilia Vu to come back and to steal victory away from Grace Kim and to a lesser extent Lexi Thompson. Congratulations to Lilia, and yeah, it's nice seeing you back on the on top of the leaderboard. Yep, very good for the American and for American golf. I mean, it was a great weekend for American golf, wasn't it? Like, really it was. I mean, wow. It was a great weekend. And the Epson Tour as well. the Epson Tour, they had an event. I believe this one was played in Indiana. I can't remember the name of the course off the top of my head. I could cheat and look at my phone, but I'm not going to. But we had Savannah Valabi winning that one, and Savannah, I hope that I didn't butcher your name up too horribly there. Congratulations to you and taking home the first place money at this event. It seems like Savannah's been around for a long time.
And one last thing, competing, the compete level.
What makes people think that 54 holes of golf is going to change your mindset when it comes to competing or your competitive level? It just doesn't go away, not in the blink of an eye, not snap of the fingers. If you have it, you have it. I guarantee you that Jack Nicklaus still has it. Guaranteed, it's in there. You know, Gary Player, I have no doubt that it's in Gary Player. So it's not going to make a difference to these guys. Everybody, as I said during the LPGA segment, has a bad year or has a down year. How long did Jordan Spieth suffer for and have a slump? How long was it? Ricky Fowler, how long for him? How long was it for in between victories for a winner this year, Camilo Villegas? These things happen. It's not because you're only playing 18 holes. No, you're playing poor golf because you know what? That's just how it was meant to be for that period of time. You're playing horrible golf, whether you're Dustin Johnson, Jordan Spieth, or whoever. And Tiger Woods. Tiger, have we seen him play his last US Open? I don't think so, to be honest. I think he's got a few left in there. But who knows what the future holds. I mean, he doesn't really know what the future holds at this moment. And speaking of Tiger, has anyone yet seen Sunday Red in the wild? I haven't. So anyways, that's it for this week's edition of Next Tee News. I'm Alex, saying take care, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next tee. Oh, and if you like this video or any other videos, please like and subscribe. It would help a lot. Leave a comment. I'm a friendly guy. I appreciate it. Have yourselves a wonderful day, night, evening, or whatever it is that pertains to you at this moment in time. We'll see you soon.